Hey everybody, I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a bit of frustration, which is causing me to act a bit in a passive-aggressive manner, and I honestly don't know how to properly deal with this. I don't think 99.9% of people probably would, because we all walk our individual lives. So although I could explain it, you won't exactly know it because you didn't live it. You may have lived some similar, but not the exact same. Which is where I'm having a problem, because I'm having a problem with words and expressing myself. Part of it may be because, well, I was dropped on my head at birth. Yeah, I don't. So maybe in some ways I'm not quite as smart, but in other ways I'm beyond smart. I'm like smart dumb. We've talked about this before. And I'm not putting myself down. I'm actually glad to be smart dumb. And I'll tell you why. Because someone who's real smart, they often think that they're a know-it-all, right? And we're not know-it-alls. So it's a way of keeping me humble, because I know I'm a little slower. So I know I learn a little bit slower. But it keeps me on track, and boy, does it keep me humble. Now here's the thing where I'm having a problem. Between church people and religious people, and Satan worshippers and Luciferians and witches. Now, I am fringe, so I kind of fall in the middle. Now, you can't fall in the middle, technically, though, because you have to choose a side. But here's the part that I'm having the struggle with. Since I grew up in the arts, I know these rituals, a lot of them, right? I'm looking at it, I know dead ass what I'm looking at, but 99% of the public has no clue. So I'm like, I see people like the Christians, and I love my Christians, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I don't know how to express myself and how to get help internally for what I'm trying to get help for that I'm lacking, because I'm lacking the words. So with the Christians and the religious people, when I start naming demons or talking about witchcraft spells, they think that I am practicing the witchcraft. No, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm showing you the inner workings of some of the devil's plans. Yes, I could see them. Not just because I had a dream, I had a vision, and the Lord showed me. No, my eyes showed me. I survived it. I've been a victim of satanic ritual abuse since the day I was born, so I see the rituals. But these Christian people, they look at me and say, devil worshiper. I'm like, no, not at all. See, what God has equipped me for was to be able to help with deliverance of demons, because I could see them. For instance, I'm related to one of the queens on a side. We'll just say that. No, she's actually a princess. And she called me freaking out and talking about the Demonology and how she was still being trafficked and having all these issues. And I was talking to her about this, and I seen the demons she was struggling with. So what did I do? I called it out. Abaddon, 17th degree, Scottish Rite. I see you. Get out of her. You have no dominion over her. None. Let her go. See, now, most people would be like, what's that? Don't worry about it. You don't need the details. That's not important. We're just praying it out. We're helping with her deliverance. So in other words, God's given me the gift of sight to see, just like with other demons, not just that hidden faction, because I'm not an exposer of people. I'm just an exposer of the demonic entities that go into people. I try to do the shadow work and make them aware that, hey, this demon is in you. How do you know? I have the gift not only of prophecy a bit, just a little bit, but I also studied deliverance ministry. So if I could see the demon and I know what their thing is, I know how to pray against it. You know, I might not be able to physically help you, or I might, it just depends. But the Christians often will then say, you're a demon worshiper, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then if I talk to the people in the crafts, which let me tell you, not all these crafts that you think are demonic. They come from a different region. They learn the same thing as you, but with different words and in a different way and with different visuals but the concept is the same. So it's universal. Unless you're a devil worshiper and out killing people and, drinking their adrenochrome and all that type shit, then obviously that's a whole different story. But then the people who know the crafts, well, a lot of them know who I am, and they know that I'm genuine, and that generally if I say something, they listen because they're like, she knows. They know I know, because, well, we all know, so shit. But then they look at me and they're like, this girl follows the church. She still believes in Jesus. She believes in Jesus. Because to their understanding, Jesus is just the gay Borgia, the King James version of the Bible, which we know King James was, the Bible was written by Freemasons. The Bible really is a codex of hidden knowledge. But anyway, so then some of the crafters look at me and say, she still believes in Jesus, which I do, but not the Jesus they think, not the same Jesus, because mine isn't a fake sky daddy in the sky. I'm not waiting for the sky to open up and Jesus to reveal himself. No, he's internally. Remember that? We house the Holy Spirit. He lives inside of us. So when that last thing opens, that last temple, it's in your mental dome, you guys. It's in your mental dome. So with the people that are religious people, a lot of them follow cultic practices themselves and don't even know it. Especially the Catholics. Oh man, I could break down those, but and people speaking in tongues. I plan to do a video on that and tell you what a lot of them are really saying and what language it's in. See, a lot of times, back in the day, they would use MK Ultra victims. Usually MK Ultra sex beta kittens, presidential diamond level. That would be my guess. No, it's not a guess. They would use these people back in the day, like the CIA, and they would have messages delivered through these entertainers, which were these betas. And they would go and they would talk to a secret organization in a whole different language. Most people wouldn't understand it, but some private factions have access to those codes. So when you start speaking, say, Sumerian, they've been trained in it. They already know what it means. The beta could totally not know what's going on because they will disconnect from their mind, because they'll usually be people with DID, which causes their mind to fracture and split. So they will do things and forget they have done them or not be aware of them because they've been triggered. And then they go deliver messages and then they keep on performing and doing their thing. And they think they're just performing like they normally do, not realizing you were just a pawn. Not only in making money on the industry side, but in passing messages. Passaging, that's true too. So I got off track, but it is all the same and related. My point really is I'm struggling because a lot of shit I see coming in advance, I warn people, they ask me how I know, and I'm just like, just God is good, okay? And then when it turns out to be accurate, they're like, how do I know? And then the Christians think I'm a witch, and I'm like, I'm not. Even though the English language is a language of spell casting. So in a way, all of us unknowingly, filthy rags that we are, practice the crafts because the English language is magic spell, right? What is the grimoire? Oh, the English language, okay. So my frustration and problem comes in how to tell people how to express this without them either judging me or telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, or for them to say, oh, you must be evil, or you must be one of them. Are you one of the Illuminati? Oh my gosh, no. And people who still use that term crack me up. I know I've said that before. They don't go by that. That is not what they, oh shoot, there's a package. That is not what they call themselves. But, oh good, a big package of food on the porch here. What else we got? Delivery. I'll come back, there's a delivery here. So I'll get back to this video in a second. Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm back. So it's a little bit later in the day, and I changed my jacket because it's not quite as chilly out. So why I felt the need to share that, I have no idea, but there you go. So here's where I'm having problems. Oftentimes people say, I wish I had the gift of prophecy. No, you don't. Oh, it would be great to be able to see everything that's coming. No, it's not. It will almost drive you insane. Like me, I could read the fractals. I could read the numbers. I could read the color codes. I could read the sine waves. I could read the magnetic spectrum. I could read the Earth's solar alignment. So my accuracy is high, but it's not me, and I'm not just high, like, smoking the ganj high. I'm telling you the truth. It will almost drive you crazy, and it's frustrating because I could look at people and say, this is what's going to happen, and it does. This is going to happen, and it does. And then this, and this, and this. And then it's very frustrating because it can be hard not to get fixated on other people's lives. It's hard not to interfere because people have free will, and you don't want to sway them one way or the other because you will be held accountable. So if you are teaching people something, it has a ripple effect. And if it wasn't of God, guess what's going to come back to you? Ungodly things. Reap what you sow, right? So I'm really trying to balance myself out, find out where I fit in, because I forgot for a very long time about myself. Knowledge of self, I got lost. People say, who are you? I'm like, I don't know, I don't remember. How do you not remember? A lot of trauma, a few bad decisions, all my belongings being taken from me. From the last event was a hurricane, and then other stuff, and then health problems, and then cancer and scleroderma and entertainers and the political people, but anyway, trauma, right? So I lost a lot of my memory from, I'm sure, blocking certain things out. And then I also have seizures, which makes sense because if your mental dome is off, your synapses is off. Seizures. So good news, I could heal myself because I'm becoming aware of these things and I'm focusing more on me. And I don't mean ego me, I mean soul work, like what is wrong with me? Let's focus on that for the moment, because once we figure out what is wrong, we know, great, that's good that we see it. We can now work on it and change that. This is an opportunity for growth. We're still here on this side, so there's still time. So I'm like, yes, score, good God points, because this is Earth school, right? We get graded at the end on how we did here on Earth. We could go to Ma'at and, the feather and the underworld and who guides you. So look, you want to get it right. I'm trying to learn to focus on myself, but it's very hard because I've forgotten a lot of who I was. And now that I'm starting to come back over the past few years, because I went through Deliverance, and I'm starting to have that true knowledge of self, it helps me to not focus so much on the other stuff on the outside. Although I could still see what's coming, people have free will. And like I said, you don't want to guide people and give them bad advice, because you will be held accountable for that if you knew better. So don't be giving people advice and stuff you don't know. If you don't know, just say, I don't know. Maybe study. But like when I came here to Earth, after I was dropped on my head to Earth and all that, I've told this before, when I went to school, at first they thought I was slow because they were like, this kid isn't getting this, because they were teaching math and they were teaching, not math, pardon. I jumped ahead. Let's go back before the math. There was no before the math, but before that was coins, learning change, money, and learning time. I couldn't grasp the concept, and they thought, this girl, she's slow, she can't read a clock in ooh, she can't even count those nickels and dimes and quarters. Maybe we need to put her in special ed. They put me in special ed for like 2 weeks, and then they looked and they were like, she's right. You're not going to believe this. She's writing in hieroglyphics. Yeah. She remembers before. She's one of them that remembers the past lives and everything. So time, I kept telling them this isn't real, because I knew the solar sky alignment, and I knew that clock was not accurate. So it was very difficult to train myself their way, which I knew was the wrong way, but that's what society said we were supposed to do. So I'm like, well, I'm a little slow, so I'm listening to this. Okay. Same with the change. Before the money was in those type of coins, I had remembered before what we traded with. So I was trying to grasp the concept, because when I was looking at the quarters and dimes, I was looking at the alloys, the makeup, the chemical composure, the compositions. I was not thinking, oh, that's worth 5 cents. No, I was breaking down the metals and how much was each one. And then, oh, science, holy shit. When they showed the alignment in the sky, they said, this is the alignment of the planets. No, it's not. No, it's not. And then they go, oh. And then they said, do you want to come up and teach the class? And I said, boy, do I. Yes, sir, yes. And I got up, and I thought he meant it. He was, he was being facetious. But I didn't get that at the time, because I'm slow. So anyway, I got up there, and he was kind of, I guess, like, fuck it. She's up here. Let's give it to her. Let's see. And I started explaining shit, and the teacher was kind of like, you know, a little bit of what you're saying I could see. And he was like, who taught you this? Like the CIA and the government. My family, the people around me, and like my babysitter, they were all CIA and government officials and shit like that. They were all people with knowledge that were people. And I was just a kid. They didn't tell me no deep shit or anything, but they told me how to read the sky alignment, how to reline up ships. But they only taught me like the basics. I don't know anything deep, but I probably know a smidgen more in some areas than some people. And that makes me a little nervous. It makes me a little nervous because I'm looking at the signs of the times, and that's why I say it's so important to repent. Just get yourself right. Enjoy your years here that you are on earth. Find your true knowledge of self. Man, I hope this helps you guys. I hope it helps somebody, because sometimes I feel so alone, but I know I'm not. That's so wrong. You guys are here. You're going through it too. Compassion. Compassion. A changed lifestyle, which would be a 180. It used to be my old address, 180 Chambers. Yep, when that chamber opens. We ain't talking gun barrels, we talking heavenly. So, you guys, just get yourself right. Get yourself right with your family. Apologize when necessary. Try to make right some wrongs that if you can. You can't buy good. You don't get into heaven from acts and doing good things. You're saved by God's grace and, the original covenant. But just get some act right. Self too. Self accountability is key, because when earth is over and we do a replay of the life, I don't mind if it's a bit funny and we laugh and joke a bit and I learn along the way, but I don't want, oh my gosh, I messed all of it up. I just fucked everything up, and I was just stupid and disobedient the entire time, and now I'm not going to exist. No, thank you. No. See, the God I follow, he said we have eternal life, and we know energy never dies. It can only be transformed. So I want to go to the next level, remembering the lessons that I have learned here on Earth School. I love you guys. And I'm back. One more time. Now, the reason I'm able oftentimes to predict what people are going to do and what's coming next is because cycles repeat. Insane people do insane things on a cycle. They'll continue to do the same things because very few people are actually repentant, because a repentant person is going to change their ways. Then you can't predict what they're going to do now, can you? If you're operating on your own free will, you can't be controlled like that. But people like the Dybbuk was the wandering uterus. People call it hysteria back in the day, or dementia, and DID, all those type things. The Egyptians back in the day used to stick some type of herbs up the chochin. Never mind. I did a video on that already, so never mind that. I got off track again, as I often do. Fuck. See, I'm working on that. I'm still working on focus, because I have so many thoughts at one time and they get jumbled together. So I have to learn to slow down and gather myself, because sometimes I'll get so damn excited to share with you guys that I get jumbled up in my words. And it's like, okay, wait, why don't I make it for people easier to understand me by slowing down my speech and staying focused? But people will do insane things like repeating the same cycle. Like this, my situation. I am aware that I have a problem with my attention span. All right, so I need to work on that. So I challenge myself on working on it by actually working on it, which is what you guys see me doing. See, change your ways. So that's a lot of what prophecy is. Everyone's called to prophesize in a way, because everybody has a testimony to share. And you are a reflection of all of us. So if you share what went on in your life and how you overcame that obstacle, we could see it and say, oh, thank you for sharing that, and make sure it doesn't happen to you. Or if you see a behavior in someone that just irks you, don't be mean to them. You're just adding more of the same energy out. Just be nice and be the opposite. Maybe they'll think about it. That person was nice. Maybe I should consider being. You just never know. You know, compassion goes a long way. And don't judge other people. The only one you should be judging is your self-actions with self-accountability. Because self-accountability is key. You know, once something is revealed to you, you have the option of taking the knowledge and ignoring it, or you could apply it, or you could add on by applying and sharing with others. So, if we're reflections of one another, look at the people around you. Check out your environment. The things you see that you want to follow, great. But don't follow any one person, because remember, people are just flesh and blood. They're always going to lead you wrong. They're making decisions and answering questions based on their level of comprehension and understanding, which may be different than yours because you are two different people. So predictability in people is because they repeat the insane cycles. So in a way, I think I have overcame so many different obstacles that I'm at a point where I like to not teach, because I'm not a teacher. I just walk it with you guys and learning at the same time. And as I'm learning, I'm excited, but I'm trying to think stuff out. And then I share it with you guys, because I love you guys too. I really, really do. I truly believe that in our soul, we want the same things. I don't think you came to earth and were born and said, fuck it, I just want to have a miserable life. No, I seriously doubt that. So I believe that all of you are my brothers and sisters. Not in a, yeah, like we're all kin. We're all related. We all house the same thing internally. Now, of course, there's always the few exceptions, because there's people like my mom who practice the crafts in a really bad, mean way. See, she likes to place hexes on people and do spells, which I don't agree with at all, because they do work. For a lot of people, they could be powerful. But that's only if you lower yourself to being susceptible to that. But if you stay solid in yourself, they can't change you no matter what. Like when my mom would practice the crafts against me, I still knew she didn't have dominion over my soul. But that's a whole different subject. But my mom is the type that I don't know if she'll be repentant. I pray she will. But here's the thing that I have to remember, because one of my worst fears when I was forever was that I'd grow up to be like my mother. That's one of my biggest fears. And I've said my whole life, I don't want to be anything like her. Well, I do in some ways, because she's my mother. But she practices things that she knowingly knows are not good. She knows that they will have negative effects on everybody around, and that she is causing chaos. She's causing mimetic magic or chaos magic by starting problems in certain areas, and then she'll come in later, she'll try to fix it and come in like a hero, even though she was the cause of the problem. Narcissists do that too. So do delusional people. But anyway, it's a different subject. I'm getting off track again. But that's how you're able, oftentimes, to be able to see what's coming in advance, is because if you pay attention to the signs and the times, if someone did something at this time last year, it's probably going to happen again. If there was a war at a certain time, well, when that star alignment comes back, it's probably going to happen again. So you just got to pay attention. While there's still time, you guys, let's just work together to get it right. I love you. Bye.